Welcome, punters, to the 2024 episode 1 of the Whispers Racing podcast. As always, I'm joined by Matty. How are you, Matty?
Happy New Year, Worm. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Same to you and the listeners and watchers, whatever you do out there. Welcome. Welcome to season 2, is it? Episode 1. I don't know. I'm not that sort of person, but welcome. How was your
Season three,
break?
I think, mate. We're up to that, mate. We've been going for a while.
I'm
Just
going well.
we just
Um,
lost a year.
It feels like, oh, mate. Um, how was your break?
Oh, very, very good, mate. Took the little family across to Adelaide on a road trip, so that was a interesting experience. But no, they enjoyed it, and we got out of Melbourne, enjoyed the Adelaide weather, which was beach weather. So didn't cop any of the deluge that Melbourne got in the middle of summer, winter, whatever the fuck that was. But no, it was good. Everyone enjoyed themselves, but kept one eye on Saturday racing, which was always nice. Yeah, looking forward to some decent racing up north now.
Yeah, we're only weeks away from like Lightning Stakes Day.
Mm, comes around
I
quickly.
what was I see? Party and Alligator Blood stepped out for jump outs. And I'm like, what the hell? What's going on here? And then yeah, geez, it's on our doorstep for the autumn. I can't wait.
We're just finishing off the Christmas ham and pudding, and the party's about to step out.
Fuck.
Beautiful.
Hate to see me in a jump out at the moment. Oh. um So yeah, we're going to preview Rosehill race 4, Flemington race 8. Matty's going to go through a lot of races in Sydney. So get your pens and pencils, your crayons, however, your laptops, however you type them out, guys. Be ready because there is tips galore. Bets around the grounds as always. Multi and pineapple of the week that Matty has put his hand up for, or I've hand passed pretty quick to him because I didn't really like anything.
I'd
So.
like to say that for the community, we got the pineapple last week.
Yeah, we did, and we got the pineapple on the end of our 2023 season, and then there was a couple more for the community as well. So if you're
I
not
think
part of
the community in general had a very nice lead up to Christmas. I don't think there were too many people paying for Christmas presents.
no, it was fat, mate. It was good. Ended the year on a winning note for myself and Maddie. I'd love for you to keep your records because Jesus Christ, you could have blown up your laptop with your plus units and stuff. But yeah, it was good. It was a good way to finish it, mate. But yeah, if you want to be part of this, guys, please DM one of us. We'll put you straight through. Comment on YouTube. DM us on socials. We'll put you straight through. We've had a few newbies come. We've had people go. So if you want to come for a week, trial us out. No hard feelings if it's not for you. But yeah, and if you're a first-time listener and watcher, please subscribe on any podcast platform or YouTube. We'd love to get our subscribers up. Everything we do is for free. So all we ask for you to do on Spotify is rate our podcast. So then we can get it out to more people and find plenty of winners for people out there. So please DM if you want to be part of the community, or more importantly, yeah, like and subscribe. A few little talking points here, Matty. One's Salcombe looks like it's going to go first up in the Australian Cup. I'm tipping they're not going to fly Moreira out for that one.
The Melbourne Cup winners coming out first up in the Australian Cup.
Melbourne Cup placing.
Oh, thank you, Magic Man.
Do you reckon they'll fly him out for that?
Oh, mate, I'll be standing at Essendon Airport, sending him straight back home.
Oh, geez, it'd be funny if he came out. It'd be laughable, wouldn't it? It'd be great, great theatre. I'm sure
Uh,
.com could write multiple articles on them, or even punters.com, my favorite. Um, Interesting. During the week, Twitter/X went to absolute meltdown when someone reported that jockeys were going to wear AirPods during the races on Saturday at the Gold Coast. When Channel 7 came out 24 hours later and said, no, they're going to wear them pre-race. Look, new initiative. I know it got trialled, I reckon, 6 months ago with Seven. Yeah, it's going to be Bruce McAvaney talking to the jockeys, which Bruce is very knowledgeable. So I'm interested to see how that goes down because, yeah, he'll have some interesting points to bring out to the jockeys and he might stump a few. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Matty.
Yeah, look, interesting to hear that they were going to be wearing them during races. That would have, yeah, been, I think, just interesting to see how it would have been executed. I mean, probably, as we've mentioned before, rider safety, horse safety, number one when it comes to this industry. So, yeah, if they do go down that path, and I'm sure they'll come up with a much better way to do it than AirPods. But probably need some testing during the trials or track work or something along those lines. So, yep, all those keyboard warriors can just hit the delete button on their posts.
Yeah, a
I
few
think
of
it's,
them.
I think it's, no, that's all right. They can have their say,
Yeah,
but good by Channel Seven just by giving the listeners and the viewers some insight pre-race.
yep, yep, something different. Especially, I wouldn't mind seeing, and I know Bruce will do it, and I'd just love for him to ask, where you going to land? Where do you think the speed's coming from? Especially 5, 6 minutes out, if you're having a bet and you're a bit unsure with your speed maps where it's going to land, he could just ask him, and that's just mine. With the AirPods for the race, I just would like all jockeys to either buy in or buy out. Don't have a 40-60 split. It's either 100% they're all in or they're all out. It's just, yeah, safety's paramount in our sport. Last thing I want to see is someone go down because of AirPods in their ears and couldn't hear the jockey screaming out to him. So yeah, good on Channel 7 trying something here. Um, yeah, a few posts might be deleted, but it was good to see their opinions on it, more importantly, and how they felt about it. Yeah, we're not jockeys, so I stayed right out of it. Yeah, it was just interesting. A few ex jockeys coming out and voicing their concerns, and it was good to see because it was just a different angle, different look on this, how they see it. And yeah, I'm always going to support what the jockeys say because they've ridden a horse, and I never ever will.
You reckon the Oliver would have ridden for as long as what he did if he had AirPods in during races?
Yeah, well, he would have blown up the microphone in it by screaming with 200 to go. But yeah, different look, and I think that's what we're going to be looking for in our sport or industry. There's going to be things like this pop up because I know for a fact that Racing Victoria are always looking to innovate and experiment. And yeah, stay tuned. I reckon there's some more coming.
Yeah, it's good to say. I think they should go down the path of more of camera angles than anything else. I think we've seen some interesting camera angles from around the world that is definitely exceptionally good viewing and gives a different insight into the race.
Yeah, I definitely like the drone shot,
Yeah,
especially when they jump, because then you can really see where they landed. And yeah, okay, Sydney Racing have that magnetic down the bottom, which is good too. But yeah, I think Racing Victoria do well with their drone footage. Yeah, definitely like the camera angles, as long as it's not going to be like Channel 10 on a the 4-day carnival when they swap it 75 times in a minute 30. But yeah, it's definitely a place for it, but just got to be right about it because yeah, .com's the punching channel, and so's Sky Channel. So yeah, interesting to see what happens in the next 6 to 12 months. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of changes for
indeed.
good, hopefully. Um, Magic Millions, Matty. Obviously, it's spending time for all these big syndicates. I saw Tiaco and Coolmore join forces for a horse. Now, that's sort of new areas. I know Rosemont built a Victorian alliance a couple of years ago. So, yeah, it's good to see that, yeah, there's a couple of big studs and uh, syndications joining forces and buying horses together. I wonder if they'll see more of it. Obviously, you see bloodstock agents and trainers pairing up, but yeah, just found it interesting. Tiakal and Coolmore pairing up for $1 million colt, I think it was. But one thing I took out of this, Matty, and I don't know, it's a bit weird for me, but I reckon you'll definitely see a different angle to me. Magic Million sales are on. Griffiths and de Kock spent $1 million on an Ole Kirk filly. First time venturing into the $1 million market for Robbie Griffiths from all reports. But what I took from the article on .com was Robbie Griffiths saying you've got to pay if you want Group 1 winners. And that's what we're trying to get to. Now, Matty, do you really need to go outside your business model and spend $1 million on a horse to win a Group 1? Normally, the Cock spends low and gets his winners in the summer and off-peak racing. I just wonder if Matt de Kock coming on board and his dad, who is a famous South African trainer, has had something to say and they've changed their business model. I've personally found the quote weird. So my question to you, Matty, do you need to spend $1 million plus on a horse to win a Group 1?
I wouldn't look. If you keep doing the same thing, expect to get the same results. So for mine, I don't mind them trying something new. And have they done this across multiple horses, or is it just the one?
No, just the one, Ole Kirk
No.
filly.
Yep. Look, interesting that it's an Ole Kirk. Don't know too much about that particular prodigy, but yeah, look, I'm not adverse to it. I like that they're trying something new. They've tried it on obviously a horse that they rate exceptionally highly, and I would imagine that they've got investors backing them. So the risk to reward probably isn't too extreme. Mate, I don't mind it. I understand it is a change in business model for them. I would imagine the majority of their stable is still going to be I'd probably say below 80 odd thousand per horse. So
Yeah.
yeah, be interesting to see, and be interesting to see how the stable actually go with the horse. If they train it in differently, prepare it differently, or whether they believe that they just need some additional talent. And if they do get that talent, they believe that success will follow. And realistically, if they do get success out of this horse, I would imagine they'll get a lot more investors come along.
If you had a free $1 million hit on a horse and you're at the Magic Million sales, would you go and give $1 million to Griffiths and de Kock to buy a horse?
Personally, no, I wouldn't do that because they're unproven.
Yeah,
However, it doesn't mean that it's not going to work.
true.
Look, putting all your eggs into one basket as they have done here, and you never know, there'll be more sales coming up, and they could find a couple of others. They could find that they have 5 horses where they've spent a total of, I don't know, call it $3 million. If they go down a path like that, and if they do that and they prove that they can have success in group racing, then it's going to attract different clientele to what they currently have.
Yep. Yeah, and as you said, Matty, they've probably got backers that have done this, and it's not Griffiths and de Kock, but it said Griffiths and de Kock venture into a $1 million filly. So
Yep.
I think they've bought it, but they've definitely would have backers. Personally, I wouldn't be if I had a free $1 million hit. It wouldn't be with them. They're just unproven, but hey, you've got to do it sometime. But yeah, good luck to him. He probably wins 3 Group 1s now that I've called this out. So look out for it. It's a grey filly. But yeah, Ole Kirk, I just don't know about the sire. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It just found that quite weird. You don't know. My personal belief is you don't have to spend $1 million to win a Group 1. I think
Well,
you hear all the bargain buys. You don't hear the 1 point so and so winning a Group 1. Then that's just me.
yep, no, I get that. What we will do though, we'll keep a track on the horse's name, and we'll see how it does go.
It'll be, I think we'll be getting weekly updates. So if you've bought into the horse, come join the community and you can give him your weekly updates and yeah, rub it in that it's going to win big races. I love it. Track stats this week. Rail out 4 meters at Flemington. Now, normally lanes 4 to 7 are the best place to be when it is in the true. Does that mean circle races, leaders are going to be advantage? Time will tell. Dry weather this week in Flemington, so a lot of hand watering. So I think it's a watch and act very early and see where they're winning from because, yeah, this hot weather and rail out 4 Telemi leaders. Down the straight, they'll find the middle of the track. One thing I've been noticing and of late, and just with straight racing, barriers 1 and 2 are starting to jump from almost the middle of the track in small fields. So just keep an eye on that. Lanes 1 and barriers 1 and 2 aren't going to be hard up on the fence. As I said, previewing Rosehill race 4 and Flemington race 8. Matty, take away Rosehill race 4.
Cheers, mate. We're all in the true position here. Race 4, interesting race across the 1,300 metres. There's 4 I've highlighted in the race. We'll start off with Gallant Star. This one's coming out of the highway, midway, one of the two. And look, 420, I don't necessarily have it marked at that quote. It was a nice win, but yeah, not necessarily one I'm wanting to follow. Not much depth for me in this particular race, so I've got it rated around about the fourth in this field. The two I didn't mind, and I think two at odds you can get them at $8 and $10. They came out of the Sydney Bowler race. Now, Sydney Bowler worm that's heading up to the Gold Coast. I think it's running a Guineas race up there in the market. So I'm expecting King of Dubai, who ran second, and Dazzle Legend, who ran third. I'm expecting that form to hold up here. So for me, those two are the ones at odds that I don't mind. But there was one here, Worm, that I did like, and you'll know the 4 lines, but number 11, Infancy, Chris Lee's Kieran McAvoy on board. Now, Kieran McAvoy didn't ride this last start. Last start, it ran third, ran home quite well, ran third to Chile Philly. Got a long way back and didn't get out to about the 150 metre mark and came home quite well. Now, the horse that ran fourth in that race was accredited, and the community was all over accredited during the week when it won. I think it was at Warwick Farm, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, won quite well in the last at Warwick Farm. Now, similar form line here, and I think a horse like this does have talent. This time of year, what I'm looking for, Worm, I'm looking for the horses that I can follow into the autumn and also into next spring. They're the horses that I want to be looking out for. I think Infancy is one of those types that we can follow moving forward, similar to Accredited. Accredited is going to be running during the spring, and I think it'll be winning nice class races. So Worm, Infancy on top. I think also King of Dubai and Dazzle Legend, they can have nice runs as well. How did you see this one?
Yeah, when you were talking about Gallant Star, it's $384 coming out of the highways. Jesus, that is poison odds. I don't understand why that is the case. I've watched its replays. It opened 340 actually, so it's on the drift already. This could start, geez, north of $5, $6. Yes, nice win in the highway, but geez, anyone that knows their punting, and I reckon 99% of the people that are listening to this right now, highways are just a junk race. Yeah, it came from behind, and probably its last 100 was probably the best part, but it just labours down the straight. It doesn't have a turn of foot. So if you are a Betfair player and it's still around the $4 mark, I reckon you just lay this until your bumhole hurts, because I'm giving it none. King of Dubai, yeah, it's chance, but even he plotted as well. So 100% agree with you, Matty. Infancy, I don't know what the jockey was doing on that last start.
Yeah, Aaron didn't have his best ride in that race. I think Kieran McAvoy on board from barrier number 7, he can be a little bit more positive as well. So, yeah, I'm expecting him to run exceptionally well. 280, I don't think you're going to get better odds than that. I wouldn't be surprised if it starts closer to like a 220.
Yeah, you can get 380 at the moment, mate.
Okay.
340, sorry. My apologies.
Be snapping that up.
Yeah, 100%. It was interesting watching that ride. He did not want to go anywhere near that inside, obviously off. But geez, he made hard work trying to get to the outside, and it was all over. I wouldn't even look at the SP there and worry about that. I reckon it's an old traditional what was it? Prep into a race like 1,000, 1,200 now, 13th, third up, ticks the boxes. And yeah, it was SP'd $4 in one of the big 2-year-old races at Eagle Farm back in June last year. So, yep, I like your thinking, Matty.
Definitely got some talent. As I said, this time of year, we'll look for those horses that are going to continue their preparation through the autumn and also throughout the spring. And this is one that I've definitely popped into the black book, and I think it can run exceptionally well on the weekend.
Did you see what it opened up in Fancy?
Wasn't it about $6, $7?
750 in the
Yeah,
340. So
yeah,
whoever's got on it the green machine at the tab, you've done well.
yes.
Wow, it now makes wow, we double the odds of Gallant Star when they open. Well,
Mhm.
someone at the tab's going to lose their job. Well done. But yeah, no, well assessed, mate. 100% agree. Well, yeah, I can't say any more. If I keep talking, I could use the M word very shortly. So we'll move over to Flemington Race 8. The Standish Handicap Group 3, 1,200 metres. Normally run on New Year's Day. So this is one of their Racing Victoria's shifts. Interesting that you've got a Group 3, 1,200, and then you've got a Lightning in, say, 2, 3 weeks' time, 1,000 metres. Bit weird. But anyway, the odds we have Sharippa $2, Curran 550, Astrologer 650, Treasure Star 950, Crosshaven 10s, Snapper 16s, and Poland $23. Now tempo here. I think it's going to be solid run here. We've got Poland and Snapper only know one way, and that's to lead. I know Poland in its jump outs, they've taught to take a sit, but I think it's best racings when it's up on speed. And Snapper, well, we know what he wants to do. Sharippa, Astrologist, both get perfect runs behind the leaders. It just depends how much they spot the front two here, and that'll determine the race. Crosshaven, Current, Treasure Star, they'll be out the back. Maybe to land on Sharippa here. I know it's $2. Doctor Obvious here, but I think like nice win last start on Boxing Day at Caulfield. Sat 2 pairs back on the fence and won nicely. Definitely gone to a new level. I thought it was only a 1,000-meter specialist, but clearly 1,200's fine. Went back to its only start down the straight where it ran fourth, and second was Midtown Boss, and the winner was Legio 10. Now we know what Midtown Boss did New Year's Day. It absolutely spanked them. So what price would they be if Sharippa here is $2? What would you get Midtown Boss? Wowee, that'd be $1.70 easy. Um, but what took my eye on that race down the straight, and it's only one. It was a fast tempo. Only went down by point 0.9, and it was coming back on the line, and that was over the 1,100 meters. Now this is 1,200. I think it suits. Craig Newitt knows his horse. He sticks with it. Ticks every box for me to put this on top. $2. It's a little short. I expected to drift. I think they'll come race time. I reckon they might look for other options. I couldn't see this starting in the red, but I do get this wrong a lot of the times, what the big syndicates or the big players do. But yeah, happy to be Shripper, $2. Happy to take on the astrologist here. I know it was running down in Group 1s down the straight a few preps ago in the new market. Not far off him. This is a lot easier, but I expected more from this horse first up. I thought it just went okay. Blinkers go on. So that tells me this is D-Day. This might be grand final for it, or this could be the end of the horse. They, yeah, might be just chucking the kitchen sink at this horse to see where it's at. But I'm finding it very hard to recommend this horse, and I'll be keen to take it on at any cost. Curran, well, we know what this horse does. It runs the best sectionals home every start, just like last start for the meeting. It's a bloody tease, this horse. I was on it last start each way, exactly what I normally does. It will sit out the back, and it all depends on how much of a head start it gives these horses and spots the leaders. It normally sits roughly 6 lengths off the leaders with 400 to go. If it can be within 4 lengths at the 400, it can win, but it'll be flashing home. It'll be flashing lights. But yeah, I just can't be recommending a win bet on this horse, knowing how far back it'll be at the 400-meter mark. Snapper, interesting runner for me. Thought it jumped out well, and I think we'll see an improvement on what we saw last prep. Matty, thoughts?
Yeah, I'll start off with the astrologist. I do remember hearing Corson say that this horse will go over 1,400 meters. It's only had one start this preparation over 1,100. This will be up to 1,200. Doesn't mean it can't win this race, but they will be setting this for a 1,400 meter race in a few weeks' time. I don't know what that is. I don't know what's coming up, but that's what I expect. For that reason, I would be backing the astrologist. Treasured Star, I can't see that winning. Neither Curran, neither Crosshaven, and neither Poland. That really leaves me with Snapper and also Shripper. Now, Shripper, amazing on, what was it, Boxing Day at Caulfield. Only steps up an extra 100 metres. I don't think, hasn't raced down the straight before, has it?
Which one's that?
Shripper, it might have gone down there once.
It went down once. It went 1,100 meters, and
Yep.
the second was Midtown Boss that day.
Okay, that's what, yeah, sorry, mate. Did hear that. And realistically, it's going to be hard to back against Shripper. And for me, the only horse that I can really see challenging it is the horse that won this race this time last year, which was Snapper. Now, Snapper hasn't really done too much across its last preparation, only had 3 starts, kind of in Group 2 company. If you have a look before that, it wasn't running too badly, kind of. As I said, it was it was first in this race last year, went to the Australian Stakes over 1,200 metres at the Valley, ran 4th, and then had kind of a couple of bad runs leading up into the summer, been spelled. And yeah, look, I think it at $12 is the only danger for Shripper here, mate.
Yep, beautiful. I can see why the Corsons won astrologist over 1,400 because it won 12 months ago at Ascot over
Yeah.
1,400 meters. Second was Kiss on All Four
Gold
Cheeks.
Rush.
Yeah, they Group 3. Yeah,
Yep.
it would have been. That's probably when I last backed the winner as well. Yeah, so D Lane going on board, it's scary. I don't like taking on horses with D Lane on board, but yeah, I just think he might have just had enough, the 7-year-old. But yep,
I think I think it'll run a race here, but yeah, I think it'll be better suited over 1,400 meters than what it will 1,200 down the straight.
yep, I'm with you. Bets around the grounds. I'll go first. So guys, get your pens, pencils, crayons, laptops, iPads, however you want it, because Matty's going to tip the card at Randwick outside of the Midway and the Highway and the Shipway and whatever they call them, those 2 races. So I'll go first. I've got only one, Gold Coast Race 8, number 1, Storm Boy, $2.30. Watch the first 400 meters of the race last start, caught 3 or 4 wide, then pushed forward, had no right to win like it did, posted a good number for its 2 wins, and the most recent, I thought it was arrogant. Barrier 10, I'd love for them to sit, for them to take a sit here, right behind the leaders. A Spywire will be leading, I reckon. And nothing of the other runners has rated well because they have all been in walking races or small fields. So Storm Boy been in a high-pressured race last start. I think it just does that again. Rinse and repeat. Obviously, Gold Coast, just be wary of the track. It's fairly new. Inside 1, 2, and 3 lanes didn't look like the place to be on the first 2 meetings. So watch and act, but Barrier 10, I like it for Storm Boy, race 8, number 1, Gold Coast. Matty.
Yeah, can't disagree with that whatsoever. Up in Sydney, what we'll do is we'll go through. We've already gone through race 4. The first 3 races are midways and highways. We'll go through races 5 through to 9. I'll give my thoughts in terms of the top couple of horses that I'm looking at in the market and who I've got on top. So we're in race number 5, which is the 1,200 metres. I've got Mrs. Chrissy on top here. Now, Regan Bayless jumps off the favourite Kitty Cat, who won a maiden, the Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott horse. It's favourite at 340. Mrs. Chrissy is at 460. I like this horse coming up from Melbourne. Kiramar David used to do this quite often. Regan Bayless jumping on board, I do like that fact as well. I prefer it over Kitty Cat, who has only had the 2 starts. The only other one I didn't mind within the race was the number 1, Diamond Dealer at $34. Forget its last start. Outside of that, it's run exceptionally well, and this isn't too challenging in terms of this field. But Worm, I do have Mrs. Chrissy on top when it comes to race number 5. Race 6, now, this is a bit of deja vu from a few weeks ago. Very keen on Louisville, but it's becoming a bridesmaid very quickly. Last 3 starts has run second, been a very frustrating horse. Tommy Berry was on board last start, got way too far back. From barrier number 1, here will be interesting to see what Sam Clipperton does. I hope it sits a lot closer. If it does and gets a split, doesn't even need a split over 1,800 metres. It should just be able to get the job done. The other ones I was looking at here is Aristonis. It beat Louisville earlier on this year and actually meets it, well, a lot better in the weights than what it did, even though it's given a kilo and a half to it here. Does get the Jet Stanley weight relief down to 57.5, but it at 550, don't think it's a bad option. Plus also Tony B at $20. I think he can run a cheeky race as well. Worm, I do have Louisville on top of Aristonius, but again, I can't tip Louisville with much confidence. Maybe include it into your place multis. Worm, race number 7, Naval College. We backed it last start, won exceptionally well. Paying about 260, 270 here. Touristic was second in that race, and for the community, we did actually send it out Naval College and make sure you had a saver on Touristic, which is around about the $12 mark. And it did run an exceptional race. I'm expecting it to do the same here again. And you are getting that price delta, Naval College 260, Touristic at $9. The other one I was looking at here, Worm, is Luncey's. It ran 4th in a Bendigo Cup, and that Bendigo Cup form's held up exceptionally well. I was a little bit surprised at it starting $5 in the market, but did see it opened much higher. So I think a few other people have seen those form lines come through. I think Luncey's is definitely a chance in this. Naval College should be too good for them here. So I think if you can get $283, I think that's the price you'd like for Naval College. But I think it should be too good for this field over the 2,000 metres in the January Cup. Jumping across to race number 8, there's probably only 2 I want to be with here. Kabling, I know that the Snowdens have a very high opinion of this horse. Again, it's only at 280, but again, if you can get $3, I think it's quite a good price. Zoo Tiger, forget its last start. It pulled up, I think I had a bleed. So forget its last start, and I can see Zoo Tiger challenging Kabling, but they're the only 2 within this field that I really want to be looking at. And Worm in the 9th, Boston Rocks, mate. Again, a short price favourite at 230, but it should be too good for this field. I was on Union Army last start. It's $5 in this field. I think it's the only one that can be challenging Boston Rocks. So they're the 2 that I'll be keen to play in this race. Boston Rocks on top of Union Army. Worm, that's how I've been seeing kind of, or where my head is on a Thursday night when it comes to the Sydney form.
One that I do agree with you on quick notice and studying 30 seconds each race was Car Bling, mate. Wowee, $2.90.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's definitely the standout in that race. I think Zoo Tiger is the only other one within the race that's got the ability to be able to challenge Kabling.
Yep, yeah, like it. No thoughts, race 10 or race 1 and 2?
Race 1, 2, and 3, no, they're highways and midways, so we'll stay away from them. And race number 10, other than the favourite, the rest of the field are paying $10. I'd probably include the favourite, that should be paying about $10 as well. So we'll leave that well and truly alone.
All right, field in the last leg of the quaddie. There we go. There's 3 legs in a field. Beautiful. I like it. Multi-time. I'm only going to have one, and that's race Flemington, race 3, number 3, Otago, at around $1.95. Matty, what are you throwing in?
We mentioned Mrs. Chrissy. We'll throw Mrs. Chrissy, which is race 5 in Sydney, in for the place, and also Kabling, which is race 8. We'll throw that in for the place as well.
Beautiful. It comes to $4.34, depending on where you play your betting. You could almost put Carbling in the win if you want to.
If you wanted to man up, you probably could.
Yeah, and I agree. We should be manning up, Matty. So I might have to rechange that to a win after the show for just my personal use. Pineapple time. Yeah, I definitely had a skirt on and skirted it up and won't be playing. I need more time. So Matty, you're helping me
That's
out
right.
this week, and I can guarantee you're probably going to hold on to this for another 3 or 4 weeks.
That's all right. Running by did the committee quite well last week up in Sydney, so we'll stay up in Sydney. And it's actually going to be the first race that we mentioned, Infancy. As I mentioned, I think King of Dubai, Dazzle Legend, they're the only really the other two that I don't mind within the race. But I think Infancy is quite a progressive type. It's the type of horse that I want to be following into further preparations. And I think that Kieran McAvoy going on board, it showed enough in its last race across the last 200 metres, especially when I saw accredited what it did at Warwick Farm. Infancy, I think, will be doing something similar when it steps out this weekend. So I'm quite comfortable to be with Infancy, and thank you for letting me know about the 340 because I just jumped on.
It's all right, mate. Anytime. Just wish we got the $7.50. I might ring
Yes.
Tab and see if they might want to let us wind it out a couple of points to 750. But no, well played, mate. I'm guaranteed you'll be holding on to that next week. Any final words to end our episode 1, season 3?
Season 3, don't forget the other season. No, good to be back, mate. As you said, it comes around very quickly, but I think we've got some good racing ahead of us. So looking forward to seeing where we can land a few winners.
Yeah, as the horse racing term, will be good for the first up run, and we'll improve off that, off this episode. Yeah, it was a bit rushed, this one, punters, for myself, having a bit of time back playing cricket or training for cricket. And geez, isn't it a great watch if you're any friends of mine are watching? Oh my God, it's funny. But anyway, yeah, we'll improve off first up.
We might get the AirPods in and Saturday afternoon and we can listen to your form on the cricket pitch.
Mate, the head noises and comments that I make while batting in the nets, it'd be yeah, I told him to stop filming halfway through tonight because there was a few R-rated words coming out of my mouth. But anyway, thank you for joining again, Matty, and punters out there. Please like, subscribe, any podcast platform or YouTube. If you want to be part of the community, DM me, put you straight through. Have a lovely week. Hopefully, you fill your pockets up. More importantly, we hope we fill your pockets up. And yeah, have a great weekend, everyone. And we'll be back next week.